Hello,
Yo, what is up?
everybody out there.
Hell,
Welcome.
whoa, sorry.
Uh
That was my phone. I was sharing our, um,
oh,
yeah.
thought I heard my echo. I was like, wait, what's going on?
Jesus.
Oh,
All
I
right,
heard it
let me
again.
stop.
Bruce, get
Let
it
me
together.
stop.
Come on, we're
Let me
we're
stop.
professionals. Come on.
That old age kicking in. How you use this device?
How you use this cellular phone?
How you use this rotary dial? Oh, it's a
Oh no,
dumb
old people
name.
know how to use one of
Right.
those.
I know, right?
Um anyway, welcome everyone to episode 10 of
Dang.
Bear Down Breakdown. We are in
Mitch
the
Trubisky
double
number.
digits. Yeah. Mitch
Good old
Trubisky number,
Mitch.
and we got Mitch Trubisky at quarterback all over again. No,
Whoa.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
Oh.
kidding. I'm kidding.
What happened?
I'm kidding. It's more like the Matt Nagy era all over again. Anyway,
Ooh, ooh. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. Somebody got a lot of pent up frustration in them.
man, I have not shared my thoughts on this loss for a reason.
Okay.
For those of y'all who follow me on Twitter, I've been very minimal with my thoughts on this loss. I've been trying to jar the energy of
Mhm.
because if I didn't have a podcast, if we didn't have this podcast, I probably would have been over the loss by now and just on to the Texans and whatever.
Right.
But I've been trying to bottle it up
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
this episode so I can give y'all, because obviously we don't record immediately after the game, or else you would probably get Bruce and I's like ultimate
Oh,
authentic reaction to these
yeah.
games.
Definitely.
Which
Definitely.
maybe we should start doing that. I don't know. I think that would be very interesting. Um, but anyway, yeah, welcome everybody. Episode 10, Bear Down Breakdown. We obviously have a lot to talk about with this Bears loss to the Packers.
Mhm.
And it was something that B and I predicted. We predicted a Bears win a week ago in our way too early predictions for this game. Um, and that's what happened. It didn't happen in the fashion that I thought it would, but it happened. So we'll talk about that. We will also, just like we did last week, give our way too early predictions for next week in our game
Right.
against the Texans and Lovie Smith's return. Whitebeard
Oh.
is what I'm calling him. Whitebeard's return to Soldier Field. Um, Stick around for that because you don't want to miss it. But anyway, before we talk football, as always, every week, I got to ask my co-host, Mr. Bruce Washington. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. You know what I've discovered? And I this is why I feel like I'm like a third Puerto Rican. And I don't even know if it's like I mean, you'll help me when I say this, but man, I've discovered the joy of salson
Ooh,
on every dang on
yeah.
food that I eat, especially with meat. Pause.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, but I've just discovered the joy of salson. Am I saying it right? Am I saying it right?
Sasson, yes.
Sazon,
Sasson.
yeah. You see, I got the language, I got the
I
lingo
hear
and
you, bro. I see
everything, bro.
you.
You see the yeah. So it's just
Man, I would
like,
expect nothing less because you grew up with
yeah,
us.
with all y'all, yeah, for real. Um, but the fact that like I put it on everything now, bro. Like I'm just it's addictive. It's addictive. I
Yeah.
made some steak yesterday, and I just all I
You put
did
some,
was just add the oh my god, I put it on
yeah.
burgers.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? When I pay a mortgage and I only got $7 to my name and I gotta eat ramen noodles, I throw it on the ramen noodles. Like it's it's amazing. It's just it's like I feel like it's a piece of heaven, bro. And I love you guys for like allowing me to embrace that seasoning. Because if I was y'all, I wouldn't share it with anyone. I'll just be like, this is our thing, and y'all eat y'all whatever seasoning y'all use that. But the joy that brings to food, it just gives
Yeah.
it life, you know.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It
Salsone is
is.
amazing.
Oh
It
my
really
god.
is. It's extra. It's really good if you throw some meat on the grill,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
pork chops or
Mhm.
chicken, any kind
And
of
you
like drumsticks
just
or wings, and just
ooh,
you rub it on there, coat it
yeah.
nice and good so that the meat
Yes.
is red because it turns the meat
Mhm.
red. It's a red seasoning,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
so it'll turn the whole chicken red. And
Yep.
anybody who knows, like if you see red meat, if you see like a chicken and it's seasoned and it looks red, you know it's
Yeah.
gonna be good. I don't care what's on it.
Facts.
You know
Facts.
it's seasoned real good.
And so,
So
I was introduced to that, and it's on everything now. It's on everything. I
that's
almost
good.
put it in some cereal, and I was like, maybe that's pushing it a
Yeah,
little too far. We
I
probably
would
don't
hold
want to
off
do
on.
that.
I would hold
Yeah.
off on that.
So that's been my life. The joys of
Nice.
Southzone seasoning
I'm all
on,
about it.
on food. So yeah. How
I'm
you
all
doing,
about it.
bro? How you doing? Talk to me.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Trying to stay away from Bears Twitter,
Man,
because it's always after a loss, man. It's always after a loss, and then yeah, it's just it's crazy out there. If this offseason wasn't, I knew as soon as the Bears had their first really bad loss that the fans, they were already toxic.
hmm
This offseason was toxic. The training camp was toxic. Preseason was toxic. Everything was toxic. So I knew as soon as going into this, and that's why I wore this shirt. It says, I don't know if you guys can read it, but it says, "If it costs you your peace, it's too expensive."
facts.
So that word to the people who need to hear that. If
hmm
it costs you your peace, it's too expensive.
Facts.
Sometimes you gotta just stay away. Stay
That's it.
away from hey yo, Alamo.
Right. What up,
Alamo
Jay?
joined
What
the
up, Jay? Al,
show. Is watching the show
firefighter,
on
firefighter
YouTube.
Jason
Yep,
Alamo.
Chicago
Yes,
firefighter.
sir.
My boy, haven't seen him in a minute. Thank you
I
for
know, man.
tuning in.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you. Anyway, yeah. So just trying to take care of the mentals and staying away from Bears Twitter on a losing Monday is seemingly essential.
It is, bro. Bro. Like it's terrible. Bears Twitter is it's a different breed. It's a different breed after a loss. Hell, after a win is different. So I don't know. It's just Bears Twitter is special, man.
Jay, you'll have to Alamo, you have to message me. He says Patreon is still hitting. I don't know how because I thought I canceled it.
Hey man, you making firefighter money,
Oh
man. Leave
man,
us
yeah.
alone, bro.
You good, bro. You got that good insurance. You all
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Oh
I like your
man.
response. Hey, bro, you got to message me on that one.
Yeah.
We doing the show right now, Jay. God,
Because
brother.
I thought I canceled it. But anyway, yeah, let's dive into this Bears game. I'm not going to go into too many details. I feel like with Bears media and Bears content creators, they're also very quick
Mhm.
to come out with podcasts and YouTube videos and breaking down the film, and everyone's already put out Justin Fields passing stats for the day and all of that. I don't want to go into the stats, uh, the specific game stats.
Right.
That's how we usually do it. I'll go through the QB's performance, the running back's performance, and all that, and we'll usually break those down individually. But there's so much content out there right now. I feel like that's get a little bit outdated, which is crazy because it's only it's less than 24 hours um, since the game has started. So
Mhm.
yesterday, so it's insane how fast information gets out there. But I don't want to beat a dead horse and talk about Justin Fields stats or David Montgomery stats or whatever.
Right.
So with that said, I just want to get our reactions, talk about our thoughts on this game, and I do have some interesting like next gen stats that I'll read later. But before I get to that, B, what did you think about this game as a whole?
There was some excitement opening drive. And I was, I mean, it got me, I sent the tweet. That's not me usually, but that opening drive got me excited because I was like, oh my God, I can't remember the last time the offense actually scored on the opening drive. So that was hope, right? And then, I mean, the way the defense, Packers was moving the ball. Their first drive, they ended up getting a field goal. And then the Bears turn around and they come down and score on some solid play calling, like the little trick flea flicker and he hit I think it was Equanimous St. Brown for like a nice gain. And you thought that the playbook will open more in this game. And then after after that was pretty much all she wrote when it came to this team as a whole. I mean, look, it was all phases of the game was piss poor from the Bears. I mean, you could throw special teams really didn't do much, but both offense, defense, and then just coaching in general. It wasn't a good game. It wasn't a good game. And so the great thing about a game like that, I don't care who is it against. I mean, I think it's kind of elevated because it is against the Packers, but a game like that with this type of roster, it humbles you. It humbles you, especially after that first game. And so you're able to use a game like yesterday as a learning tool, right? Because the expectations for this team is still the same. Like they're not even after the first week. They got the dub over San Fran. They still wasn't expected to do anything major. So you use opportunities like yesterday. You get back to practice today, leading up to the game, and I tweeted that it's you come out the first two games where you're supposed to be 0-2, and you end up 1-1. You split, and now your next three games are all winnable. I mean, even the Minnesota going to Minnesota, Minnesota is not a juggernaut of a team. So, they even though looking at the Packers and then looking at Minnesota, I will agree with you. I would say that Minnesota has a slight edge because I still don't trust the Packers offense despite what they did yesterday. But that's neither here nor there. But the game against Minnesota could still be winnable. And by that time, you're looking at what? You're 4 or 5 games in. You hope to see some type of improvement. But getting back to the game yesterday, I just saw a lot of room for improvement, and and on both sides of the ball, and even coaching. Like let's look at coaching, and we could look at especially our offensive coordinator. Um, he just looked just like he was lost, and look, it's his first year. I understand like it was against his former team and all that went with it, but it was just a lot of things that a lot of learning tools that you can use moving forward. Looking at that game yesterday, but like I said, the only reason why Bears fans are reacting the way they're reacting is because it's against the Packers. I mean, that's you always will trigger emotions when Aaron Rodgers wins his 24th game. He's 24-5, I believe, in his career against the Bears.
Yep.
And so that's you take that and put all that into play. And yeah, it's this is why Bears fans are the way they are today. But yeah, ultimately it's just a learning tool, man. It's a learning tool that these guys could take and look at film and see what they did wrong. All the missed tackles. Oh my God. And I think the tandem of Aaron Jones and Dylan, they're a good tandem, but they're not Walter Payton and whoever Hall of Fame running back you want to add as a tandem. I mean, but we made them look like they're the best thing in the NFL right now. So a lot of opportunities for growth. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, that is a very optimistic approach.
I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy in the podcast because I'm gonna throw you the alley oop. I kind of threw you the alley oop. I'm gonna let you just do what
we're gonna
you
play
do.
good cop, bad cop.
Good
You
cop,
gonna be
bad
good
cop. Yep.
And I come and hit him with the dinger.
Right.
Yeah, this game, So you have a very good perspective in thinking of it as a whole, as a season as a whole. You have a first time play caller, first time head coach, Justin Fields. A lot of people consider this to be his rookie year after the year that he had last year. So I agree with everything that you said, but to specifically talk about this game, I'll start offensively. There was a lot of that first drive, and you talked about it. Man, it was beautiful. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was beautiful. The Bears just came out and seemed like they had a game plan. And Justin Fields talked about it post game as to why he only had 11 attempts. It was because Luke Getzey said, all week we're going to run the ball down their throats, and that's exactly what they did in that first drive. David Montgomery was tearing them apart.
Man,
Their
had a great
full
game.
blasting game had
Mm-hmm.
a great game lead blocking for David Montgomery whenever they did line up with a fullback. First drive was gorgeous. And not only that, they made it look easy. It wasn't even
Yeah.
like a tough looking drive where they spent a whole lot of time, driving down the field. I think it was
Right.
7 plays, 75-yard
Yeah.
drive,
Yeah.
and most of it was running the football. And I was like, okay, okay. And I tweeted right after they scored on that drive, and I said, all right, that is all I needed to see to know that we are way past the previous regime. And then the second drive came. And I
Oh
was
man.
like,
Well.
oh, well, I shouldn't have said shit. Um, yeah, it was so
Oh man.
PTSD esque of the Matt Nagy era, where Luke Getzey finds something that works in terms of running the ball with David Montgomery, shoving it down their throats. David Montgomery was creating yards, and we've been saying this
Mm-hmm.
since since he walked into
That's
Hallis
what he
Hall.
do. That's what he does. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
creates yards out of
Mm-hmm.
nothing. It's some of his runs are just insane, and he always falls forward. They made it a point on the broadcast where David Montgomery always falls forward, no matter how he's tackled. Great running backs do that. Not good running backs, not average running backs. Great running backs do that. Um, and what does Luke Getzey do? He does that whole,
Go away
we're
from.
gonna switch
Yeah.
off between
Yeah.
David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert.
Khalil. Yeah.
We're gonna give them each, a drive. We're gonna
Yeah.
First drive, we're gonna give it to David Montgomery. Second drive, we're gonna put in, and they did that in the San Francisco game, and it was cool. It was cool because Khalil Herbert was a nice uh, change of pace back to David Montgomery, and he came out and he played well in a game where David Montgomery didn't play well in week one. So I can understand kind of why he went to Khalil Herbert, but once you realize that it just was not working out, immediately go back to what was working. And
Yeah.
it just seemed like Luke Getzey just kind of fell apart at that point, where he just like looked like Matt Nagy, a
Yeah.
deer in the headlights. Kind of just lost his touch, lost his feel, lost his uh I don't know, what do you call it when you get something going?
His mojo.
His Sure,
His.
mojo. Let's use that, mojo. He
I
lost
don't
his
think that's the
mojo.
word. But
That's not the word I was looking for, but I like it. His mojo.
yeah.
Lost his mojo.
It was like
Let's
his
see.
groove, right? Like he lost, like after that first.
Yeah, like his
Yeah.
tempo, his
Mm-hmm.
rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Rhythm. That's the word I was
Rhythm.
looking
There we
for.
go.
Rhythm.
There we
His
go.
rhythm as a play caller, because
Yeah.
as we all know, I've been saying for a while, as a play caller, you have to have a rhythm.
Yeah.
It has to make
Yeah.
sense. It's like a
Yeah.
story. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
book. You don't chop up the story to make it not make sense. Your play
Right.
calling throughout the very beginning of the game, um, when it's choreographed, when you have set plays that you're going to run all the way to the end of the game, it has to all
Right.
make sense.
Right. Right.
So Luke Getzey, it just didn't seem like it seemed like he lost his rhythm
Hmm.
after that second drive, and I get it. The Bears were a lot less disciplined in this game.
Oh my God.
Everyone was talking about how disciplined they were in
Yeah.
the first game, and that was great. But then in this game, it just seemed to completely flip on its head,
Yeah.
where the Bears are getting just sticking their foot in their mouth, um, and just not setting this offense up to win immediately. It was just second and longs, third and longs all game. Um, so that was frustrating to see him just completely go away from what was working. Because again, that's what Matt Nagy did. That's one of the reasons why Matt Nagy just did not work out here,
Right.
because he did that constantly, made it a habit. And then that their 4th and inches play call, man, it baffled my mind.
But he scored.
Baffled my mind.
But he
The only response I have to that is leave no doubt.
got you. Yeah, you're right.
Leave no doubt.
You're right.
And you know what? I'm not even mad at the fact that he tried to run it in with Justin Fields, because Justin Fields is a big dude.
Right.
And I think he has enough toughness in him to really, get a really good push to score a touchdown on a QB sneak. Just don't do it out of shotgun.
That's my only thing.
Line up
Yeah.
Line up under the center, just like Tom
Yeah.
Brady does. Tom Brady, of all people.
Of all people.
I've seen him do this time and time again, a QB sneak.
Find a little
on-
hole and
on
just
an inch, less than an inch left or needed to score a touchdown. I've seen Tom Brady do it all the time.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that if Tom Brady can do it, Justin Fields can't do it? Like, no, that's crazy. Just line up with a fullback behind him so that he can give that extra push to Justin Fields, as you always see with QB sneaks.
Yeah. And it's a one-score game.
Do it the old-fashioned way, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too cute.
So one-score game.
That's another PTSD Matt Nagy moment. You was too cute on that one, man.
Yeah.
Way too cute. And not to mention, David Montgomery basically carried them to get into that position in the first place.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
my God.
Him and Kahari blasting game, that whole drive. I don't think Justin Fields threw a pass in that drive.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
So the fact that
But and then just kind of piggyback the fact back to Luke to Getzey, like, man, it's frustrating because Montgomery only had 15 carries, right? I think it was just 15 carries.
Yeah,
Between
I think
15 and 18. I'm not too sure about the 15 carries, 122 yards, 8.1 yards per carry. And
8 yards a carry. That's crazy.
I just feel like, as great as his performance was, when you have and this is what you talk about rhythm, when you have the hot hand, like why did it take why did we go away from that? Why did we go away from that? And I'm not talking about, like, I understand when you get down 2 touchdowns, you have to change up, right? When you're down, I think they were down 24-7 at one point, I believe. So you got to change it up. You can't run the ball all the time. But I'm talking about when it was, let's say when the Packers scored, it's 10-7. Why do you want to go away from what brought you success? The Packers showed nothing in stopping David Montgomery. And you just went away from it. And then you just continued to go away from it until it was too late. And then you get to the fourth quarter, and it was just like, you saw what David Montgomery did to get them set up for that potential touchdown, whatever you want to call it. And it was just like, man, where was this at? Why couldn't we do this earlier in the game? And so it's just like it was, for me, it was more, I want to give this new coaching regime the benefit of the doubt. I know it brought back a lot of memories of of what we're used to in the previous regime. Um, but it was just like it was some head scratches. It was like, why, no disrespect to Khalil Herbert, but David Montgomery talking about rhythm, right? He was in
Right.
that rhythm. He was
Ride the
in that
hot
rhythm,
hand.
and
Ride the
him
hot
and
hand.
him and a fullback, like they both was in that rhythm together. And I just think that we got away from that. We got
Yep.
away from that. That's almost like, in basketball when you just got the hot hand and you just decide to, give it to Vucevic. DeMar DeRozan, he killing. But you want to just all of a sudden get Vucevic involved. And it's like, why, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Oh my God.
So and Vucevic is a solid player. Khalil Herbert is a solid running back. But when you got the hot hand in Montgomery, why go away from that?
Yeah. Yeah. You keep going to it until they stop it.
Till they stop it.
It's literally what Green Bay did to us.
I was just about to say that. I was about to say like they did the exact thing to us, the exact same thing
Yeah. It's
with
just
Aaron Jones and Dylan. So yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's Matt Nagy's problem was he either thought he was the smartest dude on the field, or tried to be the smartest dude on the field. And sometimes you don't have to be the smartest dude on the field.
you don't.
Just keep it simple, stupid.
That's it. That's it.
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. So yeah, obviously a big problem in this game in terms of me was Luke Getsy. And I don't know if it was going back to Lambeau Field, got his nerves going, or what the case is. But the positive in that, the silver lining in that, is that this is only the second game.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he's a brand new play caller. And I know these are all the same excuses that we gave Matt Nagy when he first started, but you have to give these guys the benefit of the doubt. You have to let them show you with a bigger example of them failing. Then you can kind of give up on them. And I'm not ready to give up on Luke Getsy yet.
No, not yet. Not yet.
But yeah, I mean that's the silver lining, is that he still has a lot to learn as a play caller, can improve. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yes.
We haven't seen how this regime, and especially Luke Getsy, reacts yet to a bad loss like this. We don't know how they're going to react.
Right.
This is the first time that we're seeing this regime go through this adversity. So we'll see if they can pull it out. And then the fact that Justin Fields has 28 attempts.
Ooh.
This is another thing on Luke Getsy that is bothering me as a whole, not just in this specific game, but as a whole. 28 attempts in 2 games.
Yeah.
For Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And the first game is obviously a lot more understandable because that monsoon downpour in Soldier Field. It wasn't a quarterback friendly game. You can understand why they didn't throw the ball that much. But it's like, how are you going to know what you have in Justin Fields? How are you going to let him develop? I'm starting to wonder if they don't trust him. It's either one of two things. They don't trust him throwing the ball, which that's a huge concern if that's the case. Or they don't trust his pass offense. There's a difference. Not trusting Justin Fields is obviously focusing the blame on him. If you don't trust his pass offense as a whole, I'm talking about getting the wide receivers getting separation, offensive line holding up, and Justin Fields going through his progression and making the right read. That is more understandable, and that is something that I can live with, and that's something that they can fix.
Right.
But if they don't trust Justin to throw the ball 30 times in a game, then that's a bigger issue. That's a bigger thing.
Definitely. You're not going to win in the NFL throwing the ball 11 times for 70 yards. That's just not going to cut it. And I get that, and it should have been complimentary football. The fact that David Montgomery was running the way he was running, that should have opened up the play action. That should have opened up the passing game,
Yep.
more than it did. And so um you asked the question, then how did we only manage 10 points? And the answer is the fact that Justin Fields just did not, I don't know, he just didn't seem confident. I don't know, like you said, to your point, I don't know if it was the play calling. Like, we don't know what it is, but your number one receiver can't have one catch for -4 yards. And
Go
your top tight end, he didn't have a catch at all. I mean, granted, he dropped the ball,
drop the
but
one.
yeah, he didn't have a catch at all. And then when you look at Darnell Mooney's stats through the first two games, it's just like it's telling that this passing game isn't, and we're not expecting this to be all world Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen type numbers, but we can't have our quarterback. You can't have a quarterback in the NFL, period, expect to win games. I don't care how great your running game is. This isn't the 1980s. This isn't when you can run the
Right.
ball. You have to have that passing game, and that's my concern right now with Justin Fields. I don't want to say that he lacks confidence, but do they have confidence in him? And
Yeah.
and and the thing is that you gain confidence. The only way you can gain confidence in your coaches is if you make it was a play where they had where Equinemi and St. Brown was wide open and he missed it. He didn't throw it to him, and I think he threw like a little check down to David Montgomery. But it clearly showed that uh Equinemi was wide open. He looked his way, but just didn't feel confident in throwing the ball. And so, you know, it's what.
I have some clarification on that
Okay.
play
All
actually.
right, yeah, go ahead.
Um, so they talked to Equinemi and St. Brown about that play specifically.
Mhm.
I think it was either today or after the game yesterday. Um, but he said so. He originally was supposed to run a curl route on that,
Mhm.
uh, and he beat the defensive back so bad that he turned it into a go. Um, and in that situation, you're supposed to throw your hand up. That's how they're coached, and they call it a mailbox. You know how the mailbox, the hand goes out.
Right.
Um, which is what he did. If you watch the replay, he beats the DB
Mhm.
real bad, turns it into a go route, immediately puts his hand up. Um, and the thought is that maybe Justin didn't expect this to happen. Equinemius St. Brown also said that it was the first time in a practice or a game that this situation presented itself. So Justin hasn't seen that yet.
Okay.
Um, so maybe it's a situation where they have to get on that same page about that. This is
Yeah.
like you said in the beginning of the podcast, there's a lot of teaching moments. This is one of them where Justin has to pay more attention to the fact that that Equinemius St. Brown has that option to,
Yeah.
if he beats a DB that bad, he has an option to turn it into a go route, and you got to look his way. If he's open, you got to throw it up there.
Right.
Sorry, didn't mean
Right.
to interrupt you.
No, no, that's a perfect a great explanation as to why, how that whole thing developed. Um I don't know, Justin Fields, man, he's looked out of sorts too often. And it's just one of those things where it's just like I want to, as I say that, I'm also cautious in knowing that we've played San Francisco and we played Green Bay. Green Bay has a look. You could be a hater all you want to against the Packers. They have probably one of the best defenses in the NFL. And San Francisco, they have a top tier defense as well. And it's only been 2 weeks. It's a brand new offense. Um, and I know we have to have these realistic expectations, but we also want to see these increments of improvement from Justin Fields. And I felt like yesterday it was a slight regression. Now, and I know we're going to talk about the Texans soon, so I'll save this. I expect a good game from Justin Fields against the Texans, and I'll explain why when we get into why, um, and why I'm making this statement. But I expect a huge game from Justin Fields come this Sunday. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah. I agree. It's a perfect transition into Justin Fields. I was
Thank you.
prepared to talk about him as well because he was my second gripe
Mhm.
with this Bears offense.
Yeah.
So first it was Luke Getsy, which I think was a huge problem. But yeah, Justin was not good. And shout out to Courtney Cronin. She covers the Bears for ESPN, and she tweeted out some stats, and they were very, very telling
Mm.
about Justin Fields in this Bears Packers game. First stat: Justin Fields has the longest average time before a pass in the NFL at 3.26 seconds. First stat. So basically, he has the longest. He's being given the longest time from his offensive line to throw a pass at 3.26 seconds. Second stat: his off-target percentage, which is 30%, is the second highest in the NFL. Third stat: the average separation for Justin Fields' targets is 3.93 yards, which is the fourth highest in the league. So this tells you two things. Based on that, and I'm not off the Justin Fields train. I don't think he's a bust. I am not saying that. If you are saying that, then I think you know nothing about football. I just want to make that clear. If you're saying if you're one of those guys, Justin Fields ain't it, shut up, because you know nothing. But I'm giving you these stats because two things that make this very interesting. First one, what was the most people's biggest concern coming into this year offensively? The offensive
Wide
line, right?
receivers. The offensive line. Yeah. And the wide receivers.
The national media, I feel like like locally we were like super worried about the wideouts, but nationally that's all you kept hearing was, I don't know how Justin Fields is going to survive behind that offensive line.
Right.
Ryan Poles didn't do enough with that offensive line. And you take a look at that stat, and Justin Fields apparently has the most time to throw in the league. Second biggest worry offensively for the Bears going into this year: wideouts.
The wide receivers, yep.
Apparently, and that this isn't just wideouts, this is all targets. Excuse me. All targets. They have the most amount of separation. They have created the most amount of separation in the league. Or not the most, I'm sorry. Fourth most in 3.93 yards of separation per play. And some of that, I'm not going to give all the credit to the wide receivers. I think Luke Getsy has sporadically done a really nice job to scheme some guys open as well. So I want to give him credit for that. But both of those stats tell me that this is not a Justin Fields doesn't have anybody open problem, and this is not a Justin Fields doesn't have any time to throw problem, which is it's pretty surprising and pretty telling, because I've been saying all offseason that if Justin Fields does fail this year and he doesn't play well, it's going to be because of what's around him.
Right.
Granted, Luke Getsy, at the point that I just made, but talking about Luke Getsy, I don't think he's helped Justin Fields a whole lot, but at the same time, Justin Fields has not played even remotely well. You are looking for improvements. Well, it seems like he's regressing.
Yeah.
Not even flatlining. It just seems like it's going down.
Yeah.
Now he made some plays that I think were a little bit overlooked. Like that play to Cole Kmet that he dropped. He had a dude right in his lap.
Yeah.
That Sam Mustipher got tossed by Ryan Clark.
That dude, that's my Notre Dame guy, but
Sam Mustipher got tossed.
He had a rough game yesterday.
Like a rag doll by Ryan. Now Ryan Clark he's a
monster.
He's a beast. He's a Pro Bowler. He's one of the best
DTs, yeah.
inside linemen in the league. So, you kind of understand it, but he got tossed and then he fell right into Justin Fields' lap. Justin Fields delivered the ball to Kokomet and Kokomet dropped it. So there's not really a whole lot Justin could do there. There was
Right.
another play towards the beginning of the game. I think it was the first drive, actually, the only pass that Justin completed in that first drive, where he also had a dude in his lap come free and he delivered a ball. So there's just like little things that you see that's like, okay, Justin can do this. He
Right.
can. It's just, again, and it's something that we have been saying with quarterbacks here in Chicago forever. It's just something between the ears.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not right. He has every single physical ability to not just be a good quarterback, but a great quarterback, a superstar quarterback. It's just something between the ears that's not clicking.
Could it be game experience? Could it be just the lack of he hasn't had enough? Or are you just looking at this as like how, and I know you're not jumping off to Justin Fields because you've made that clear. But let's say he has a bounce back game against the Texans. Are you taking this game by game?
You have to. You have to at this point, because it's like you already said it. It's his first year in a brand new offense.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're already setting this guy up not necessarily for failure, but you're not helping him at all going through a complete rebuild in his second year. Like you're already putting him through another offensive system in his second year when he didn't even he didn't even play the full season. This is his 12th start, guys.
Right.
He still has not played a full 17-game season as a starting quarterback. This is his 12th game. So, yeah, you have to take this game by game.
Yeah.
And if any, like, it's, I don't know, man. You look at different games, like the Pittsburgh game last year, where he looked great. Probably his best game as a pro. I think that's very obvious. Everyone reverts back to that game when they talk about Justin Fields showing flashes, showing that he can be a really good starting quarterback. That Pittsburgh game.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think it's a mix of everything. It's a mix of everything. It's a mix of bad play calling. It's a mix of the fact that he may not have the best weapons around him. He's not. You saw Tua, throw for 6 touchdowns, but look who he's throwing to. He's got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Like,
yeah,
he's got weapons over there. So, yeah, with Justin, I have to be optimistic that he's going to keep improving, and have a bounce back game against Houston, because I mean, I just don't understand how you can be completely out on a quarterback who's only started 12 games. We gave Mitch Trubisky 4 years, guys.
Oh my God. And by the way, you see what he's doing in Pittsburgh. He's just lighting it up and putting up Hall of Fame numbers. Sarcastic statement that I just made.
We gave him 4 years, and year after year, we were like, okay, this is going to be it. Okay, guys, this is going to be it. Okay, guys, let's just wait and see about this one.
Hey, he was my nephew. I had him. I was rooting for
I was
Mitch.
too, man. I was too. And
I can't give up on Jay Fields. I gave Mitch a lot of leeway. So
yeah, and another thing, like, when we talked about this, I think it was either on this podcast or our previous podcast, but and I'm just going to repeat myself, we have never seen a properly developed quarterback here in Chicago. We just haven't.
Right.
We have not witnessed it. None of us know what that looks like.
Right.
So
Right.
for anyone to make any definitive conclusion on Justin Fields, whether it be good or bad, whether you are still saying that he's going to be a Hall of Famer, or or you're now jumping completely off the bandwagon and saying that he ain't it, he's a bust. We need to look for another quarterback in this draft. Either one of those sides are way too extreme.
Yeah. Pump
You
the
can't
brakes.
say either one.
Right.
Sorry. If you do, then I'm just convinced that you don't know what the hell you're watching. You don't know what you're talking about. But we have to let this play out. We have to let him improve in this system. It was one of the offensive linemen. I don't remember if it was Riley Reef or the other guy, the ones that we signed during training camp. And he played in this system last year for his previous team. And he said he made it a point where he was like, the first 4 games were rough offensively. They were rough. But after that 5th game, we found it. We knew what we were doing. We found our niche, and it just clicked. So let's let this play out, guys. Let's let this play out. We got some favorable matchups coming up. I think all Justin needs is a really good game.
That's it. That's it, man.
Is a really good
I
game.
said that. That's what I've been thinking. Yeah. Yep. Just one. Just one.
I think he needs one really good game. And I think Luke Getsy needs one really good play calling game for him to be like, okay, this is what's going to work for Justin. This is what's going to work for this running back group, for this offensive line, for these receivers. Yeah, I just think we need that one game to bust it open, as they say.
Pause. I think that we can I think we can definitely get that. And I don't know if we want to segue into this matchup against the Texans, but one of the things that I wanted to, kind of hold on to is the fact that the Texans has the 27th ranked passing defense.
Real quick, before we go into this,
Okay.
this Texans matchup, can we just talk about this defense real quick?
Okay, I was trying to avoid that, but yeah, sure.
No, we have to, because
get into that trash. Oh my God.
Because that was another really big reason as to why the Bears just didn't have enough offensive plays. Yes, they had a bunch of 3 and outs, but that defense could not get off the field. My gosh.
Yeah.
Can we talk about, listen, Kyler Gordon, let's just talk about him first. Really bad game.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible game. He got picked on all night. Jalen Johnson, again, didn't get thrown at because all Aaron Rodgers did was look to see where Kyler Gordon was. Oh, you right there? All right. Throw into that guy. That's just all it was. Anytime Aaron Rodgers threw the ball, which wasn't a whole lot, but anytime he did throw the ball last night, it was at Kyler Gordon. And not just that, they ran at Kyler Gordon too. There was some. Man, I feel bad. That was his welcome to the NFL. Humble yourself. Here's this piece of humble pie.
Definitely.
Actually, not just piece. It was a whole pie.
It was the whole pie. It was the whole pie. Yep. And it wasn't even the pie that you enjoy. It was like pecan pie. Don't nobody like no pecan pie. They gave Kyler Gordon had pecan pie yesterday, and he had to eat the whole thing. Nasty ass pie.
Oh man.
Who brings a pecan pie to Thanksgiving? Nobody. And that's what Kyler Gordon had to eat yesterday.
I don't even like pie in general. So.
Oh, see, there you go. You go.
For me, it would be any pie. But yeah, it just seems like, listen, the slot cornerback position is a very, very hard position to play.
Definitely.
It's harder than being out there on the outside, even though, yes, you may be on an island sometimes. But you have to show up and run support.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sometimes cover tight ends. You have to know what's going on. And that's why a lot of times slot corners, that there are veterans out there. you see veterans out there playing slot corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a tough task to bring in a rookie, and as talented as Kyler Gordon is, and I'm not jumping off his bandwagon either. I still
No,
think he's going to be a good
not at
corner in
all.
this league.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think it's time to maybe slow down on the Kyler Gordon in the slot corner position.
Yeah.
Can we see him more on the outside? Because also, I'm sick of Kendall
Oh
Vildor.
my God.
Like,
Oh my
I'm done
God.
with that experience too. Like,
Yeah. Who else is in
almost
the cornerback room that we could just
that's the thing. And that was going into the season. The cornerback depth is not good.
mm,
It's not
mm.
good. And I think the only hope that we had was Thomas Graham, and we put him on the practice squad for whatever freaking reason
Yeah.
that was, and he got signed by another team because he could be a guy that can actually play. Another
Yeah.
team was like, "Oh, you're gonna put that guy in your practice squad? Yoink, we'll
Right.
take him."
Right.
Dumb. That was
Yeah.
one of the dumbest roster decisions I think this regime has made early on this year. But yeah,
Can
cornerback depth is not good. So I don't know. I don't know what they do.
I
Um,
just yeah. I'm the Kyler Gordon thing again. I'm putting him in that same category with Justin Fields, where it's a game by game situation. He's a rookie, a lot of expectations for him.
he was a top pick.
He was the top. He was the
In a
top pick.
draft, in a draft
Yeah.
where fans wanted Ryan Poles to surround Justin Fields with talent, and he went defense.
hmm
So
Yeah. So yeah. So but he had a hard game. He had a tough game. I want to call out. I'm gonna be honest with you. I
please
want
say
to
his
call out
name.
Roquan
Thank you.
Smith.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Like,
He was next.
who somebody who wants to, looking to get 20 mil a year. And I'm gonna even go back to the San Francisco game because I was able just to just look at some stuff on him. And his first two games, it hasn't been all that, he's made some plays, but my guy yesterday, it was just like, can you just shed one block? Just give me one. Give me one block to just see like there's just like some hope that you can like get just share. I mean, he was absolutely terrible. And if you look at his numbers, like, yeah, he had a team high. I think he had like 10, 11, 12 tackles, but I mean, he really struggled to shed blocks. And that play where AJ Dillon lit him up. And I think it was like on Aaron Jones's like his second touchdown, I want to say, but AJ Dillon lit Roquan Smith up. And so it's just one of them things where, man, I was watching Roquan. I'm like, bro, just share one. Give me one that you can get off of and make a play. And the 11 tackles he had, I'm looking at his numbers. He had 11 tackles. Not one tackle impressed me. Like, it was more you just getting lit up by AJ Dillon. I know AJ Dillon is a big guy, but come on, man, you got to play better because you're the best defensive player on the defense.
Yeah.
Between you and man, my guy Robert Quinn, like you guys are expected to set the tone, and he just didn't. He just didn't. They had, and I'm not blaming him on this, but the Bears had the Packers in a situation where I believe it was 2nd and 28. Like the Packers had a penalty, and then I believe it was Trevor Gibson who had a solid game. Travis Gibson, he had a solid game yesterday. He sacked Aaron Rodgers, and they had them where it was 2nd and 28. Completely knocked them out of field goal range, and the Packers picked up 28 yards in literally 2 plays. They had a 20-yard. It was like
wide receiver screen.
wide receiver screen, and then a slant to Randall Cobb, who came out. It was like a wheel route. He came out the backfield. His matchup was then against Roquan Smith, and any wide receiver against a linebacker, they're going to win that easily. And they was able to pick up the first down. But 28 yards in 2 plays that they made up. And I think they scored on that particular drive as well, or they got a field goal, something along those lines. But when you have the Packers backed up on 2nd and 28 and you allow them to complete that, like that was tough. That was hard. And yeah, so.
Yeah,
But Roquan Smith got to be better. Definitely got to
Yeah,
be better.
that was my next target was Roquan Smith because he looked lost. He looked lost. And for those of y'all who know, he's playing a brand new position. He's playing that weak side linebacker. He's no longer the middle linebacker in a 3-4 defense. He's the weak side linebacker in a 4-3. And now you look back in the offseason and you wonder what it could look like if maybe he just practiced.
Mm-hmm.
If maybe he just played a preseason game or two. I'm not saying he would have been, completely acclimated and he would be looking like a pro bowler out there right now, but he just looks lost. He looks like he's not comfortable playing that position. And I saw Owen Krutz, former Bears center, he tweeted out, I think it was right after the first half ended, and he said, this might be an overreaction. I'm paraphrasing. This might be an overreaction, but maybe they should move Roquan Smith to middle linebacker. And I read that and I was like, nah, that's an overreaction.
Right.
You're crazy.
Right.
And then the rest of the game played out. And it was like, okay. Yeah, Roquan does not look comfortable. That doesn't look like a good fit for him. And it's going to be interesting to see what Matt Eberflus does with Roquan. You're talking about one of the best off linebackers in the league, and Roquan has proved that, within the last couple of years. But you're not getting the best out of your captain. Roquan Smith is a captain now, so you're talking about a captain on the team. You got to put that guy in the best position so that he can help your defense, whether or not he is or isn't here next year. You got to see what you got in Roquan. You got to see if he's, if he's worth the money that he's asking for, or even close to the money that he's asking for.
Right.
And it's pretty obvious that you're not going to find that out with him playing the will linebacker in this 4-3 scheme. So, yeah, I'm open to it. I'm open to moving Roquan to the middle and seeing how he does there. But we'll see. We'll see what Matt Eberflus decides to do and Alan Williams.
Yeah. I don't know. This is one of those things where I'm just like, maybe Roquan just needs to just play better.
Could be.
Who knows? We'll see.
Could you when you're just play better.
Right. It always goes back to that, right? Just stupid players. Just play better.
Stupid players. Oh man, that's hilarious. Okay, yeah. Let's move on to this Texan game. We're calling this our way too early segment. I didn't even go over that with Bruce. I just made that up right now. But
no, see,
since
we don't say that. No, we did. We went over it. Just now.
You know, right now. Secret now. Secret language that me and Bruce have. But no, we're calling this segment way too early because it is way too damn early. It's barely 24 hours after the last game ended before we're going to go over the next game because we don't have another podcast episode, like these podcast people that have 8 podcast episodes a week. I don't know how the hell you find time for that.
What do you all do with your life?
I'm saying.
Jeez.
Shout out to Greg Braggs because
I love Greg. That's my guy.
The balance that he has. I see him. He has a full-time job. He's a bricklayer.
I'm about to say, Greg he out there building whole houses in like 3 hours and then go
bricklaying job is no joke. It's some hard work. And then he does CHGO. He does his Braggs in the Stands podcast. He has a family. Like that's goals right there, man.
Yeah.
And teach me, Greg. But yeah, anyway, we don't have another episode. This is our only one in the week, so we have to give our early game predictions for next week and talk about this game and what we think. So Bruce, I'll let you go first. What do you think about this matchup against Whitebeard coming back?
Winnable. I'm gonna be honest. This is one of those games where I would be really disappointed if the Bears don't win. The Texans are just they play hard, and any Lovie Smith
They're
coach
scrappy.
team, they're gonna be scrappy. They're gonna play hard. They're gonna give it the old Lovey effort, right? Because
Lovely effort.
that's just who Lovey Smith is as a coach, man. Like it, but man, I just the Bears. I expect them to. This should be a dub. This should be a win. You're at Soldier Field. David Mills as a quarterback don't scare me. Um, I think that's all I can name as far as who's on the Houston Texans. So they got Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is another, former Pro Bowl wide receiver. But come on, this is a
Yeah.
game that you should be able to open it up on offense. Like I stated earlier, the Texans have one of the worst um, passing defenses. Like this, they're 27th in the league. You could throw against this team. I'm pretty sure you can run against them. Like it's not a good roster. You think this? Look, if you think the Bears roster, I'm not saying us Chicago fans, but from a national standpoint, if you think that the Bears team is bad, this Houston Texans team, they're not good. They're not good. I was shocked that they play hard, so I shouldn't be shocked. I shouldn't be shocked that they're 0-1-1. Their one tie was against, I believe, the Colts,
Yeah.
and then they just lost the previous game. I don't even know who they played. Was it the
Broncos.
Texans? Who?
The Broncos.
The Broncos. Yeah, and that was a hard fought game. That was a hard fought game because they play hard on defense. They play hard on defense. I will give them that. Um, Not a lot of names, not a lot of star power on that team, but they play hard. They play hard. So, but again, man, I would be so disappointed if the Bears don't come out and really open it up from a passing standpoint. Darnell Mooney has to have a huge game this week. They have nobody in that secondary that's going to be able to stop the Bears. To stop Darnell Mooney. Cole Komet, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because that's my guy, Notre Dame guy. He's gonna score a touchdown this week.
Mm.
I'm gonna put it out there. Justin Fields has to have a good passing game. I mean, I'm just expecting a lot of good things from an offensive side of the ball. So we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. This the Bears are favored in this one. Okay. I'm talking about on the money line. The Bears betting wise are I think 3-point favorites in this game, 3.5. Um, and this is the Bears that we're talking about. So they're not going to be favored in a lot of games this year. So the fact that the Bears are favored in this game tells you all you need to know about the Texans. They're scrappy. Don't overlook them. Would it be completely surprising if the Bears lose this game? To me, in my opinion, no, because like I said, this Texans team is scrappy. So the Bears cannot overlook this team. Um, but yeah, I mean, you talked about their defense. They allowed Denver Broncos to rush for 150 yards on pretty much 5 yards a pop in that game. Um, and we're talking about the Denver Broncos team who Nathaniel Hackett is looking like not that great of a coach.
Yeah,
So
man. Yeah, yeah,
Nathaniel Hackett figured out offensively how to beat this team. And they only scored 16 points against the Texans. It wasn't a whole lot,
yeah.
but uh, they figured out a way to win. And if Nathaniel Hackett can figure out a way to win, then damn it, Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy, y'all better figure this one out. Y'all better figure this one out because
Man,
you let Davis Mills, who, by the way, is in the same draft class as Justin Fields, and he's been starting for the Houston Texans ever since he was drafted. So, Davis Mills is the guy that gets overlooked. He's a redheaded stepchild of that 2021 QB draft class with Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance. He's the redheaded stepchild of that class. You let Davis Mills walk into Soldier Field and outplay Justin Fields? Oh, man.
yeah, yeah. My patience level,
Oh man,
man, it's gonna drop. It's gonna drop, brother. I'm telling you, man.
and Bear, you might as well light Bear's Twitter on fire
Oh my God.
and like yeah, it's gonna be all hell is gonna break loose for this regime as a
Yeah,
whole. Everyone, Ryan Poles, everybody
yeah.
getting the business if that
Everybody.
happens.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but yeah, it's Whitebeard, Lovie Smith coming back. If it's one thing about Lovie Smith, um, from what I can remember as him being the head coach of the Chicago Bears, um, he loves to stop the run. Even though the Broncos were able to run on them, he loves to stop the run. That's been his mantra as a defensive coach. Um, so I expect Houston to really buckle down and try to stop this Bears run game. Being so, I better see Justin Fields have at least 30 attempts. At least. I want 30 attempts from
Yeah.
QB1. Okay? I don't care how he looks. I don't care if it's another bad game. I don't care. Give him at least 30 attempts. Let's see what he can do. We don't know. There's no way you can tell whether or not a quarterback has grown or how much he's grown with 28 attempts in 2 games. That's
Yeah.
just it's not
Yeah.
possible. I
You
don't
gotta
care.
open it up. Yeah.
I don't care who you are. So open it up against this Texans team. Lovie Smith is going to allow you to pass the ball.
Mhm.
He's going to allow it. I mean, we've seen it time and time again here in Chicago. We used to call it was the cover 2 defense. Towards the end of his tenure, we called it the cover who because it was
Right.
like he was just letting QBs throw for 300 yards. It seemed like every game.
Yeah.
So this is if there's a game, if there's a bounce back game for Justin Fields and Luke Getsy for both of them, it's this game.
Yeah.
So with that said, Bruce, prediction
Mhm.
on the score for this game. What you got? What you predicted?
This is the first week that I actually have the Bears winning. My first 2 weeks I had them catching L's. This is the first week that I have them winning, and I'm gonna go with 27-14 Bears. 27-14.
I like that score. That's a good score.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be another close game because the Texans are scrappy. I don't think this is going to be an easy game for the Bears at all. But I think Justin Fields does have a good game. I think he does outplay Davis Mills. Davis Mills. He has to. He has to. Damn it. But I think the Bears do win a close game. I'm gonna say. I think you got the Bears points right. I'm gonna say 27-23. 27-23 Bears.
Okay.
And we are 2-1 going into Giants week, which that's going to be an interesting game. Giants are 2-0.
2-0.
Right.
Saquon Barkley looks freaking amazing, by the way. Pause. Not like that, but you know.
You sure? You sure it wasn't like that?
Oh, brother, trust me. Don't want those rumors to get started. Let me stop.
Oh man. Shout out to Paul. He said 3 sacks and 11 attempts is scary. Hopefully we can protect. Well, if you were here earlier, Paul, you would have heard my stat. The special stat that I gave up. Justin Fields has the most time to throw, or the second most time to throw per attempt in the league. So while 3 sacks and 11 attempts seems like a lot, he has time to throw. And all those sacks aren't on that offensive line.
Hey man, y'all better come correct with Eli today, bro. He ain't playing. He not playing today,
no
bro.
games.
Pow, 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 pow. Just shoot everybody.
I got my Floyd card, guys. Right? I got my Floyd card.
I shoot you in your chest. I wet you.
Bars.
Out here just gangster.
No, I ain't got no more patience, man. I ain't
Right.
got no more patience with this team. Figure it out.
Oh man.
We'll see what happens. We'll see. I don't know if did anyone get injured in this game? Is this another injury-free game? I don't
Yeah.
remember
Nobody
any.
serious. Yeah. Nothing
Wow,
serious. I think
imagine.
our feelings got injured, but
Yeah, I
other
think
than
our
that,
pride is injured.
yeah. Yeah.
Our dignity is injured. But no key Bears players, which is good.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see this week. Bounce back week. We're speaking it into existence. Thank you all for tuning in, especially y'all who tuned in live, and for those of y'all who commented and joined in on the conversation. We had Bruce's sister, Tina. Shout out Tina,
Oh
who's a
no.
Packers fan.
Why? Why she
Comment in.
did not have
Of
to
course.
chime in?
What's crazy is I wonder if the Bears won, if she would still be in this
Nope.
commenting in this chat.
Not
Probably
at
not, right?
all.
Yeah.
Not at all. We know how that goes.
Easy. What did Michael Jordan say in the Last Dance? It's easy to talk stuff when you're ahead, but when you're even, when you're 0-0,
Exactly.
harder to talk
Exactly.
stuff. How come you weren't in this chat last week, Tina?
Right. Right.
Anyway, thank you all for watching live. We appreciate you, no matter who you root for. And for those of y'all who are listening to us on the audio podcast form, we appreciate you too. Thank you so much, especially if you're listening to this point.
Go cop some
Hey,
merch.
B, I didn't even see you got that.
Yeah,
You got the
wait,
hoodie.
hold on, let me slide on it. Hold on.
Hey, if you're
Go
listening,
cop some merch.
if you're listening on the audio podcast, I always put the link down low to check out our merch. So you can find that on the podcast page or in the episode page. If you scroll down past the description, you'll see the link. You can go ahead and check out our merch. We got hoodies, we got shirts, we got mugs. Go check us out. Support us. We appreciate it.
Please.
But yeah, any support is appreciated. Watching, listening, give us a review. Go ahead and do that. That helps us out a lot. Actually, that helps us out probably the most.
5 stars.
5-star review.
Yeah. Yep.
Say a little something about us. Even if you don't do that, just hit the 5-star. Just do that. I don't even care. We appreciate it. But anyway, yeah, love you guys. And as always, we'll talk to y'all next week.
Peace.